use more academic words? How can I use more varied vocabulary in my writing? So think about reading different texts from a variety of topics, and for each topic, and then you can pick the language related to that topic, right? If you wait until we have this class only, and I think that's okay, but I think if you want to be more successful, right, to make greater progress, and think about it, read more, write more, right, and or listen more to people, and then you pick the language. Okay, so so here you can see so you see here, okay, you can learn more words from doing this as well. Okay, you can learn, so you can see that we have a lot of good words here: transform, retain, compensated. Okay, so and then you can have the words here. Now, can we do, I think this is for reading, but still it can help your writing. Okay, and you have achievement test there, I think, for your reading, but now let's come to writing. Let's see what we have here. Reading and writing. You see, reading and writing. Okay, yes. Okay, writing skills here. So you read the paragraph here. Now read the first sentence, read the topic sentence. So, and then you can see, right, Guild is an interesting servant who created an imaginary city in his head. So this is the topic sentence, is located from the very beginning of the paragraph. So they ask you what the topic sentence of the paragraph is, right? So which sentence? A, right? So I think it's easy for you, but I think do not leave it there. You need to read, and then do not just read it, but I think about how people use words. Here you have imaginary. Imaginary means not real, right? So, and then could you give me a different word that is related to imaginary, but I think it means different things. Can you? So we have imaginary here. Do you know another related word that means differently? So if you know it, type into the chat box. Could you, so you have the verb imagine, right? And now, what is an adjective of imagine? So you have imaginary. What is another adjective that means differently from the word imaginary? Type in the chat box. You can Google and type in the chat box for me. Should I show you what? Unreal, yes, unreal. That means that is fictional. Very nice. So you can see a synonym: unreal, fictional, illusionary. I think many good words. So other students, could you pay attention to the words in the chat box from Minh Tiễn and Thư Trang? Yes. So you by learning more, I think even one more lexical word when you do a little exercise, and it will help add to your lexical repertoire, right? So the wider the size of vocabulary that you have, and then you might find it okay, easier to write. But I think writing is not just about the language or linguistic dimension. It's also more about other things as well, right? We have cohesion, we have coherence, we have unity, we have completeness, okay, non-existence, and you have insubstantial, insubstantial means not substantial, right? But it's not really fictional or imaginary, right? Okay, tức là mấy bạn có những cái bạn khác có thể là khó khăn khi theo dõi, thì mà em nhìn thấy là khi mình đọc đó thì một số bạn ở trong chat box sẽ cho mấy bạn một số từ đồng nghĩa. Imaginary là nó mang tính tưởng tượng, nó không thật. Unreal bằng minh tiếng cho từ unreal, bằng thư trang cho từ fictional, bằng minh tiếng cho thêm một từ nữa đó là illusion, illusory, yes, illusory, right, illusory, non-existent, không tồn tại. Mythical, nhật quân, yes. Thu hoài, visionary. Visionary might mean differently, right? So and insubstantial might not be the exact synonym in this case. It's insubstantial có thể là nó chưa hẳn là cái synonym trong trường hợp này. So when we talk about synonyms and antonyms, right? Synonyms and antonyms must be considered in context, right? Khi chúng ta xem từ đó đồng nghĩa hay trái nghĩa, nó phải đồng nghĩa hay trái nghĩa trong cái ngữ cảnh đó, đúng không mấy bạn? Vậy thì so you see that, oh, why do they ask you to do this a little exercise? But it helps, right? Okay, you read and then, okay, this is the very first sentence, or this is the topic sentence, and they choose it. And please see how they develop that topic sentence further. That is also very important, right? And see this paragraph, how this paragraph is developed, right? Gills, I don't know how to, Gillies, how should we pronounce this name? I don't know, but Gillies or Gilts, Gillies, maybe I don't know, but you need to check how to pronounce this name. Has drawn hundreds of sketches to provide the details of the city, which he named, okay, Irvin, not quite sure. He has been able to draw three-dimensional objects. Okay, three-dimensional objects since he was 5 years old. And then he has also written a history of Irvin and published a book about the city. So I think you can see that they have one topic sentence, and then these sentences and the supporting sentences develop why okay, he was a servant who created an imaginary city in his head, right? So you can see about the city, and Gillis is an example of a servant who lives in his own world. So you see the concluding sentence. But here you can see many three-dimensional objects, tức là cả cái vẽ những cái đồ vật mà nó 3D, mẹ em thấy 3D đây này. Three, mẹ em thấy hay nói là màn hình 3D, 4D như vậy. So three-dimensional. So you can think about how you can add more information to your paragraphs. So last week I talked about how you can balance your arguments. Okay, how you can keep, how you can be consistent with the message that you provide in the paragraph. And today I would like to draw your attention to how you can upgrade your lexical performance in your writing. Hôm nay cô sẽ chỉ mấy bạn cái cách chúng ta sẽ đẩy từ vựng lên như thế nào trong cái đoạn văn. Last week we talked about this already. Tuần trước chúng ta cũng nói đến là chúng ta sẽ đẩy cái văn phong nó trang trọng hơn để chúng ta tránh cái sự cẩu thả, như là sự lười biếng bằng cách dùng dấu 3 chấm, hay là chúng ta đừng có dùng là abbreviations, chúng ta không dùng chữ viết tắt, không dùng viết tắt ở trong việc phân viết học thuật, đúng không? Chúng ta không dùng gì nữa. Chúng ta không dùng các cái từ như là stuff, people, things. Don't use them too much, because if you use them too much, right, it shows that you might not have sufficient vocabulary to express your intended meanings. But maybe you have your vocabulary, but you cannot activate them. You cannot call them out to use while writing. Có một số bạn biết nhiều từ nhưng mà phải gọi nó ra được. So you should be able to access, recall and access your words, right? So I think back to my question earlier, we have imaginary and imaginative. It's very different, right? You have the word imaginative, is an adjective, but I think it's different from, it's not the same. I think how, and then you compare, right? So imaginary. So imaginative means, oh, that person is imaginative. That means he has a lot of imagination. Một cái người sáng tạo thì gọi là imaginative. Một người mà nó không thật á, không thật như là một người không thật thì là unreal character or imaginary character, một cái nhân vật không có thật, một nhân vật tưởng tượng thì mấy bạn dùng là imaginary, right? Mà một người có nhiều cái sự giàu trí tưởng tượng thì mấy bạn sẽ dùng từ là imaginative, right? Imaginative. Okay. So I think by doing that, so you pick up another word, and that might be very useful.